All right, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. It might be December, but there's still plenty of golf to talk about.
Yep.
And one of the things we're going to talk about is that the Liv drama, it just doesn't end.
It never will end.
I don't think it's ever going to end?
No. Until they
good
come
question.
into, like, harmony, I don't think it's ever going to end.
Do you think we'll ever achieve harmony, or is this the state of golf forever now?
State of golf forever. And I think if Liv's got to be gone for it to end, or some type of a huge, massive agreement where players can play anywhere they want, whatever, no issues, world record. Other than that, always drama.
Well, we're going to talk about what some of the players like Tiger indicated what would be required for them to have this agreement.
Yep.
But where I see these stories just keep coming out, and even now, like, it just shows more and more animosity between like the players and the leadership. Like, sometimes you think it's just the media building up the drama. There's no real drama between these guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we get a story like this. I don't know if you saw this one. Now, this goes back to the U.S. Open this year, but the news just came out in a recent interview, I guess, with Rory, where he said that during the U.S. Open this year,
mm-hmm.
He woke up to a text one morning with Sergio Garcia telling him to, quote, shut up about Liv Golf.
Really?
Yeah. So he said,
interesting.
Rory said that he responded with a couple of daggers and they haven't really talked since. Now, keep in mind, these are guys who were fairly close. They were Ryder Cup teammates for a long time.
Right.
And I mean, that just tells you, like, these guys are kind of at each other's throats a little bit.
Wow. Interesting.
But yeah, he told
That's a tough text, huh?
Imagine you wake up that morning, like, shut up. What? You know?
Jeez.
But I mean, that was a big part of the time, especially around the U.S. Open, when it was really starting to ramp up talking about it, like whether these guys would be invited to the majors or not. Rory's been heavily in the camp of saying, very pro PGA Tour.
Yep.
And obviously that was his remarks on it was giving more and more of a black eye to Liv. Now here's a guy like Sergio who doesn't want to have that black eye. But in the same token, Sergio, it's not super defensible because he knew the temperature when he went over to Liv. He knew. And you had to be ready. You go to Liv, you had to be ready to say, I'm going to take the heat.
Yep. And that right around Brookline, U.S. Open, is when things were kind of hot.
Yeah.
That's when, like, the Brooks interview, like, shut up and stop talking about it already. I'm sick of it.
Right.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, another indicator that happened this past weekend, and why I don't think that this is going to cool off anytime soon, is that it's now crossing over into other sports. So we saw, I mean, we thought we were talking big money with golf, right? $200 million to join. And it's like, that's paid out over multiple years.
Right.
Cristiano Ronaldo, now he's expected to sign. He hasn't, as of when we're recording this, he hasn't signed yet. But arguably either the most or the second most popular soccer star on the planet. So that carries a huge amount of eyeballs.
Is he one of the most popular followed on social media on Instagram?
I think he's the most followed athlete at just under 500 million followers on Instagram. So anyway, he is reportedly going to be taking the deal to go and play for the Saudi soccer team for an unbelievable $209 million per year.
What was that per minute you had that calculated at? What they said?
I read somewhere online that was somewhere like $400 a minute the entire year.
Can you imagine that? I mean, we've seen similar calculations with like golfers, like per stroke and stuff like that.
But but that's an amazing, like, because we've seen like baseball players like Giancarlo, like Stanton, you get like $300 million contracts, but over 10 years.
Yeah.
And then we saw Phil and these guys go to Liv for, like you said, 150, 200 up front. Maybe that's paid out over time, but this is per year.
But it just proves the Saudi pockets are deep and they're ready to go all in on sports. It's a 1 year deal.
1 year deal.
Yeah. Who knows what he'll do after that? But that was for a 1 year deal. But it proves that the pockets are deep. And I was reading through just to kind of get the gauge on what people thought about it. And obviously, this just came up on like my Facebook feed, and I'm reading through the comments. And a lot of these people might not be. It might be more soccer fans than golf fans. But immediately the comparisons were starting to come in to Liv Golf. So people are talking about. So now it's gets the conversation ramped back up again, and now everybody's
this is just to join for me, not knowing anything about soccer, this is just to join the Saudi team. The Saudis are not joined. They're not creating a new soccer league.
It's a team in a Saudi league.
Okay, they're not coming out with.
I believe.
So what
I
they
could
want to
be
do
wrong.
ultimately is bring the eyeballs over to Saudi soccer.
Got it.
That's. I mean, if you boil it down to the most basic, you bring the guy with the biggest following over. But speaking of which, I was running through that list of most followed Instagram athletes. It's so funny. We think, because we're so ingrained in golf, like Tiger and how
You would
big
think he'd have a
Tiger.
gazillion followers.
You would think he'd be so high up on that list. He doesn't even sniff it, right? And because you look at this list, there are guys on there who are so worldwide popular, and I guarantee you've never even heard of these people.
Yep.
There's one guy, and I'm not gonna. You guys know I'm terrible with names. I'm not gonna butcher trying to pronounce it. But there's the most famous Indian cricket player. He's got 290 million followers.
Wow.
So here's a guy playing cricket, a sport that's minuscule here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
But it's massive worldwide, massive.
In India, and you think about how many people and it's incredible. But between Ronaldo, Messi, this guy, they have the 10, hundreds of millions of followers.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I know that put us on a weird trajectory there. But the main point I wanted to make was that you're going to start to see this even beyond golf, it seems, where the debate of the Saudi money and what should people believe. And I saw a lot of similar conversations in the comments to, hey, how can you blame the guy? How can he turn down $209 million? You hear the same thing with Cam Smith. How can you blame him? It's big money. But no matter what, there's two sides to that. There's two camps developing, and I think the debate just continues forever.
Dude, I mean, unless you're in the situation where someone dangles a $140 million carrot in front of your face. I mean, I know he said he lost sleep over it. He was texting all his buddies about it. Dude, think about that life decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, now the thing that gets weighed into, we talked about this before, the official World Golf Rankings, the majors. The question I had to do some digging on, I was wondering, was, does this put any of these golfers' Hall of Fame aspirations into jeopardy?
It's a good question.
And
TJ's a Hall of Famer. No question.
Right.
But is he?
But here's the thing. So I looked at it. The Hall of Fame is run by the PGA of America, not the PGA Tour. So it doesn't immediately disqualify them. The same way that you're disqualified from playing in the President's Cup, because that's run by the PGA Tour.
Cam Smith was the PGA of America Player of the Year.
Right.
There you go.
So as of right now, the PGA of America have not drawn the hard line that the PGA Tour have.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it automatically discounts it. Now, where it could muddy the waters is the voting to get in. Ultimately, the people who still vote.
That's true.
If they get a bad or a sour taste, or if they try to make the argument that, let's say a guy let's say Liv never gets official world golf rankings, and Cam Smith, who's earlier on in his career, falls out of the
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Now, he could still pick up some points if he's able to play in majors and he wins some majors. He could still pick up a point, but on the week-to-week basis, not competing in any sanctions events, he's going to fall out. And then these people start making the comments, well, he wasn't ranked high later in his career because he couldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It all goes back to what you said before. Is it ever going to end? And I don't think it's going to, because like you just said, imagine Cam comes back, he wins the Masters, shoots up to number one in the world again. And then everyone's going to be saying,
I don't think that's enough to get him to number one, though.
Well, let's just say, for example, I know it probably won't
Let's
be
say he
enough.
won all the majors.
Let's say he won them all.
Yeah,
but
in the year.
Then you're going to get the people again saying well, I don't want to do the majors like John Rahms unless it has the best people, and the best people are not here. So, and Cam should be here because he's number one. It's just going to nonstop.
Well, as of right now, they're all still in the majors.
Yep.
But listen, you guys are also so great about in the comments giving your opinions, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you think that this Liv conversation will at all, weigh in with the Hall of Fame? And if so, how do you think it'll affect the Hall of Fame? But the fighting keeps continuing. And you mentioned earlier, is there a way for these two to get along? Tiger was doing a lot of press this past week around the Hero.
Would he have another closed door meeting? Is
No,
he
but
the boss?
Right? Is he
the
the low
assistant to
key?
the-
Right.
I heard that there was another
They said there was
closed-door
another
meeting.
closed-door
Did
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
With who though? He was down in Bermuda
Just with the
The
boys.
crew. That new fraternity we saw hanging out at the Hero. Those guys on that chipping challenge. It looked
Yeah.
like those guys look like, by the way, just a fraternity of dudes just hanging out doing a chipping contest at a
I
bachelor
wondered,
party.
like that was that like that low key dig, like having that, like them having
I
fun
think
like
so.
that on camera. Was that like when like you have the boys trip and your one dude like doesn't come,
Right.
and like you purposely like
Could've
post a
been
little
here.
extra, like how much fun
Yeah,
we're having?
I'm not sure about that because
Is that what they're doing to the live guys? Like, look how much fun we're having.
I don't know about that because I haven't. They've done challenges like this a
Of
whole
course.
lot in the past, so I don't
It might
think this
be.
is like a direct like stick it to live.
I'm being cynical with that
No, no, no.
and like half cheeky,
But like Taylor Gooch has made more money than Tommy Fleetwood in the last month, so he's getting the last laugh. I think in that. You know what I mean?
If money is the last,
If money
laugh.
is the laugh,
But
for
what
these
I'm
guys.
saying is like Tiger doing more press conference, answering more of the questions. He's gonna get the questions about Liv. And what Tiger said was that if he thinks that they're gonna come to an agreement, which means he's not totally ruling out the idea of an agreement between Liv and the PGA Tour. He said in order for that to happen, Norman has to go. And Rory echoed a similar thing, basically saying there wasn't an adult in the room. So they're basically saying that Norman is the one who's causing too much of a rift for them to be able to talk. Now, I don't know how true that is or not. You know, Moynihan's taken a hard stance from the beginning, but Norman, of course, fired back. Even I saw some comments today saying
Yeah,
he
I'm not
doesn't
going
care
anywhere.
what I'm not going anywhere. I don't care what Tiger or Rory says. I'm not even listening to them. And then Rory continues to go in and he says like he's really been making it a mission to be a real pain in Norman's side over this whole thing. So all this leads to me thinking there's no easy
What's
road out of
Norman's
this.
bone to pick with the tour? Has he always had like beef for years? I think just
Norman has always had the dream of starting this additional tour. And then his eventual vehicle to that was the Saudi backing and the Saudi money, because obviously it would take a lot of money to do a tour that would rival the PGA Tour. And then I think he's just so all in on it, you know, just blazing ahead.
yeah.
But it'll be
speed ahead.
interesting. The other question I have for you is we've been hearing that there might be some more big names announced going to Live.
I might have saw it on Twitter or something, like one of these like, you know, live update tweets or something. But I heard like this could be a big week for new names.
And they say like, and then one of the names that's been in the conversation has been Victor Hovland. Victor winning this past week at the Hero, which is, although it's not a FedEx Cup event, it is a PGA Tour kind of sanctioned event, you know, Tiger's event, the whole 9 yards. Do you think that this solidifies him more on the tour, or do you think that this has no bearing on?
I don't think it matters
he's
at
still
all.
in play.
I don't
to go
think it
to Liv?
matters at all. I mean, Cam won the Open and he jumped, so and he jumped.
The Open wasn't a PGA Tour like event though, but
Yeah, but I mean, like you would have thought, like I would have asked the same thing. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like after Cam winning that event and then winning the Players previous, like I would say, this solidifies him being, you know, not going to Live and staying on these tours. And of course, it didn't. He jumped. So
well, if nothing, him winning the Open made him a bigger target for Liv and definitely
made more
increased his
money.
price tag.
Yeah, stock
Same
went up.
could happen for Hovland.
Hovland, I thought was going to be gone months ago to Live. So this only makes him more attractive.
It
If he
makes
gets
me
offered like
wonder.
$50 million, I think he goes.
Do you think like after a win comes in like that or a big moment, the next day there's a bigger offer on these guys' desks? Do you think Hovland gets a call this morning from his agent? Be like, listen, I you know, you may have said no before. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Can you imagine that call? It was 20. Now it's Victor. Now it's
But
40.
like I told them I'd present. It's like a real estate agent. Be like, I have to present every offer.
Right.
And Liv is now presenting $100 million.
Right. And then just like real estate, if I were Victor, I'd be like, give me that. What do they call that in real estate? Firm and final or whatever.
Yeah.
I want final.
Best and final.
Best and final by tomorrow at noon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm staying.
That's what these guys got to be. I mean, you win a big event. I think then if you're already on their radar and you haven't given them a 100% no, like a Rory would be a 100% no, I think the number just keeps going up.
Right. I think, and more so, the real reason Victor's got a big target on his back is because of the diversification of this country play,
International.
and it's lacking in his Sweden area. I mean, he's got Stenson. Is he Norway or Sweden? Stenson.
Stenson is
Sweden, I believe.
Sweden. Correct.
Yeah.
And Victor's from Sweden. I don't even know. No, Norway.
I think.
Yeah, see,
This is why we do it.
geographic.
Which, by the way, is coming up.
Horrible
We've got another
at it.
one of our fun games. Our geography game last
And
week.
this one's going to be harder than last time, I feel.
This one I definitely think is going to be harder. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a good one.
Hovland's from Norway.
Norway.
Okay.
And I want to talk in a second about a poll that we recently did. But the one last thing on this and this whole Rory and stuff news, the other big news and the thing that everyone's going to talk about this week is of course going to be Charlie Woods, right?
Is that this week?
No, sorry, it's going to start
up
to ramp up the PNC.
I think it's next week,
right?
I think it's before Christmas, but yeah,
I think we get that little breather.
Or is it after Christmas? No, it's before. Yeah, they wouldn't do it right before the Century.
Well, here's the deal. So Tiger said that he told Charlie, if you're going to emulate anyone's swing, emulate Rory, not mine. He said, I've never seen Rory swing off balance. And I love picking this apart because it's like wisdom from Tiger. Everyone's got to listen, right? But it just shows the real premium. And I think this is great for any young golfers to really hone in on the premium that Tiger puts on a really well-balanced swing. And if you're going to emulate anyone. And it's funny, you were saying before the show, we were talking about it, that people have been drawing comparisons between Charlie and Rory's swing more than Charlie and Tiger even.
Yep. Looks very similar.
It does. But very interesting to hear Tiger saying, don't copy me, copy Rory. And I think that's something for a lot of young golfers to think about.
I just saw on Instagram this morning, someone did a side-by-side of Rory and Tiger's swing, and they look identical with the quote on the thing.
Rory and
Charlie and Rory.
No, Rory and Tiger, I saw. And with Tiger's quote. And then the joke was but Dad's looks just like Rory's too.
Right. Well, I mean, ultimately, especially for novice eyes ours, they're so both technically sound. There's nuances in there that we probably don't see. They look to us very, very similar. But I'm sure Tiger and them, they see things that we would never even see.
I saw a side by side with Charlie and Rory.
That's the one I saw,
and they looked identical.
That one I saw too.
Identical.
Identical. By the way, speaking of a second,
I don't think he would get that reference.
He would not get that.
Do you know what movie that is?
No.
That's so heartbreaking.
Identical.
Being in his 20s, not knowing the My Cousin Vinny reference. It's good.
That was that's a story for a different day.
Yeah, it's a story for a different day. But what was I just going to say on that? I don't know. I lost it on Tiger and Charlie. I just keep getting blinded by these empty shelves behind us, which we didn't even make reference of.
We didn't. If you're watching,
you see shelves.
You're gonna. Well, let's put it this way: you're gonna see a lot of quick changes over the next couple of weeks.
Winter's when we do these things.
Yeah,
and we're back in the dark.
We're in the dark.
We're experimenting here.
Night show, day show.
But you're right. During the summer months, we're out of the office all week, and we just pop in here to do the pod. Now it's the opposite. Now we're
live
in
here for the most part.
And speaking of which, I want to do that poll in a second. But the one thing I didn't want to lose sight of, I wanted to ask you this question was, where do you stand on how do you feel about and for Charlie in general? Because I'm trying. I was just driving the other day. I was just thinking of it. I'm like, I put myself in this kid's shoes. I'm like, I'm Charlie Woods. My dad's Tiger Woods.
Right.
I've got access to anything and everything I want, but I also have all the pressure of the world. No real chance to just be a kid. And you know what I mean? No real even ability to just be human and enjoy the game at a young age. They're already looking for him to accomplish so much at such a young age. And you think about it, if he doesn't become an all-star Hall of Fame golfer, what type of pressure does that put on him? Just to be in your father's shadow, the shadow versus the pull that your father gives you.
Yeah.
There's two sides to that coin, and one is a struggle.
It's a struggle, man. I mean, imagine how hard is it to live in that guy's shadow?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Tiger didn't have to live in Earl Woods' shadow. Earl was just his drill sergeant coach.
Tiger almost lived in his own shadow.
Correct.
When he came out 3 years old with all this talent, he immediately created a lot to live up to.
Right.
But there's a real lot for Charlie to live up to, because if Charlie even has a mediocre career, right, which if you weren't Charlie Woods, if you're a no-name who came up in the PGA Tour and got 5 wins on the PGA Tour, people are like, you had a good career, you know?
Yeah.
But the benchmark against your father, people be like, he fell short of what we expected. I don't know for this guy. Almost in a way, I feel for the kid.
You'll never be your dad type of life.
Right. He's got
but
that
maybe he's
bar
learning
set
that now.
so high.
I think they're sitting with coaches and psychiatrists like Charlie, trying to groom him that don't try to live in your dad's footsteps, because you're not.
Well, that's the other side of the coin. He has access to what other people don't have access to. Every brilliant mind in golf, I'm sure he has access to. He's the type of guy who can FaceTime JT and ask him a quick question.
But that doesn't mean he's going to get 15 majors.
Right.
He may never win a major in his life. Isn't that crazy about golf?
It's crazy.
He's got all that access. He's his son, but he may never win a major.
What were you going to say there, Zach? I know I cut you off before.
I was just going to say that I think that he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders, and that I don't think Tiger is going to let the pressure get to him. I think Tiger at this point is all about making it as fun as possible for Charlie. Yeah, it's serious. Don't get me wrong.
Because you can never pull that out of Tiger, the competitiveness.
Yeah,
he's going to instill that always.
For sure, but I still think that he's trying to make it fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's bringing Charlie out with him whenever he can to the events, and Charlie's getting to see all these different things that the average 13-year-old or however old he is would never see. And I think Tiger might be making that like enough for Charlie.
I also, I mean, like, because look, it is true. Charlie lives a very fortunate life that kids would only dream of. What I'm just saying is the other thing to think about is that also comes with a lot of weight.
Yeah.
It comes with weight, but who knows? Like, we don't even know if this kid wants to be a professional golfer. Like, like where has he said, like, he's never said that, like, his goals and
but I'm
dreams
saying is he's being pushed that way, at least by the media.
Yeah, no, for sure. But to a 13-year-old, the media might not be anything if he doesn't see it, if he doesn't hear any of it. That's just white noise in his life. It's just like a non-factor almost.
And there's a lot of unknowns. We don't know how much Tiger might be sheltering him from the media. He might not be allowing him to absorb too much of it. But I just think it's something to, like, watch as it unfolds and see what he decides. Because, he's a kid who doesn't have to work a day in his life if he didn't want to.
Right.
If Charlie wanted to just head up the Tiger Woods, charitable arm of the foundation and just play golf for fun for the rest of his life, he could.
He could do it,
and he'd be totally fine. So a part of it will be his decision, but I'm just saying this. You think there's a lot of fortunate parts for him, but there's also a lot of tough stuff.
I also think that being Tiger had such like a serious, like, regimented early life with the game of golf with his dad. I think Tiger, he's going to take a lot of the stuff that Earl imparted onto him, but he's also going to know, like, what made him have his breakdowns, to some extent. So he'll be able to guide Charlie in a way that Tiger didn't have when he was a kid. So I think that's a major help.
Yeah, and we'll see how much, as you said, how much is Charlie truly drawn to the game on his own? Because that's the other thing. Although Tiger, had these big regiments and stuff like that, Tiger wanted and to consume as much golf as he could. I'll never forget what an incredible story. It's funny. I'm looking. I still have the blue tape behind me. Even that's how much we're under construction here. But I'll never forget the story that Tiger told where he would want to continue playing golf into the night, into the darkness.
Yep.
And it wasn't that Earl was making him go play. In fact, Earl told him, I'll tell you what, you can play as long as you want, but you can only have one ball and you have to find it. And that taught Tiger to have a feel for where the ball went, even in the darkness. But that was just showing you Tiger was the one who didn't want to come in off the golf course.
Right.
So we'll see how much of that kind of weighs in with Charlie. But all right, let's talk about our poll real quick, though, because we mentioned this earlier, how cold it's getting.
Yeah, today's an appropriate day for it.
It's an appropriate day. So we put a poll out to you guys on the community page. So by the way, make sure if you're not already subscribed on YouTube, subscribe, because we're going to put these polls out pretty often. So what we asked was a couple things. Is there any way you can make that a little bit bigger so I can read that there, Zach? I want to make sure I get the numbers right. So we said, what is the coldest temperature you'll play golf in? And we started with one option was no less than 50 degrees. That's 10 degrees Celsius, which is a chilly day still, right?
That's still,
And we said, how many of you then would play golf as low as freezing, 32 degrees, 0 Celsius? And how many of you will go below freezing, to play golf? So 40% of you said you wouldn't play in anything less than 50 degrees. And I know a lot of you live in temperatures and climates, luckily, that you don't have to. And 50 probably feels much colder to some of our southern listeners than it does to us.
Yeah.
Because to us, 50 is a nice warm day to go play in this time of season.
Right.
But for those of you living in Florida, you're like, what is going on here? You might not even own a jacket.
I know. 50 is rough for anyone who lives in Florida.
Yeah, like we've got all the gear and the layers and ready to play.
We see 50 on Thursday. We're excited to go play golf.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be 50. We're calling each other.
We're stoked.
So you can probably surmise what our answer is going to be. But 40% of you said that. 46% of you. So I love how many brave souls we have. And this is just under 7,000 total votes. 46% of you said you'd play as low as 32 degrees, 0 degrees Celsius freezing. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
And the truly brave souls, 14% of you. So that's almost 700 people in this poll said you play below freezing.
I mean, I'd do it. It's not like desired, but I would do it.
Yeah.
We did it last year.
Yeah.
You know what's the game changer for me? It's not the temperature. It's the wind.
It's the wind.
It's because I'll play, let's say it's 30 degrees out. I got no problem playing 30 degrees, but when it's 30 degrees with 15-mile-an-hour wind, you know when it's just like your like cheeks just feel like they're gonna like break? Like it's just like it's
wind
just
is
relentless.
the worst.
To me,
wind is the devil. With
it's
golf.
hands. It's hands and face.
Yep. And you know what's been good? Like legs. People underestimate the legs. Their legs will freeze. My legs freeze.
Do they?
Freeze. But the lifesaver, Zach, we were talking about this. Those FootJoy wind pants.
Oh yeah,
are the greatest things in the world.
I wear them from like October to.
You throw those over, and the wind just stays away from your legs. It's amazing. I'm not trying to do like an ad read for FootJoy here, but I'm just saying it's a lifesaver.
That's what I'm saying. With dressing the right way, you can accomplish most of it. It's for me, it's just like the hands and for us, the particular problem that we have is like I can't really wear the winter gloves that FootJoy makes the winter gloves because I can wear them for golf, but controlling the cameras because we're out filming and like they're all the little buttons in the touch screen. So like I just have to go gloves off half the time.
I got my whole setup down to 2 buttons and an on-off switch. So maybe you guys got to figure that one out because
he's got like an Alexa
I can wear full
Alexa, start recording.
Start recording now.
I say that I'm hesitant because it might over there. Like
I know, don't. It's gonna turn off the whole podcast booth.
We connected all the lights to her, so
one episode we'll give it to you a little.
Anyway, let's do a break there. It's a good spot to break. Let's do a quick word from our sponsors. And we're gonna come back with this fun new game that we did, and you guys can play right along, especially if you're watching. But for our audio listeners, you're gonna be able to play along too. So let's do our quick word from our sponsors, and we'll dive into that. All right, as you guys know, we all have different ability levels and goals, but the one thing that we bring in common is our desire to do our best every single time we tee it up. And it all starts with choosing a golf ball that you can trust. The Pro V1 is the best combination of speed, spin, and feel in the game. And then the X, which is your ball, Mike, gives you all that plus a little bit of a higher flight and a firmer feel. So it really comes down to personality and what you like, but both of them deliver that long distance, that consistent flight, the soft feel, and the most important, that drop and stop greenside control, which can be a stroke saver. you know it if you've ever had a golf ball skip off the green and the difference in the stroke or two there. So whether you're Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, or Nelly Korda competing at the game's highest levels, or simply striving to be the best you can be, tee up a Pro V1 or Pro V1X and always bring your best. Find out more at Titleist.com. And you know what? Put something on your list for next year. Go get a ball fitting. It changed our game. And you'll really learn a lot about your game. Go and get a ball fitting. So go to Titleist.com. You can find out more about that.
All right, now it's time for the FootJoy ad read here because inappropriately wearing the Thermo Series. I wore it today, and I have the Thermo Series outer jacket.
Chilly out there.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It was like 20. Frost on the ground, frost on the cars. But this is why FootJoy created the Thermo Series line so that we can continue to play longer and longer into the season. Like I said, we're playing Thursday. It's going to be 48, 45. Yeah. But hey, we've got this most advanced apparel layering system from FootJoy ever, designed specifically for golf. Enables us to play in all weather conditions, wind, rain, you name it, hail, sleet. You want to play in that? We could play in that. Yeah. This collection of base layers, mid layers, outer layers, and even the pants, which are something new in the lineup. The materials help you move without any restriction, and that's so key when you're playing golf. I mean, people try to wear bulk weight jackets out there. It doesn't work. Well, FootJoy has you covered with the Thermo Series. It's temperature regulated and ensures maximum comfort no matter how many layers you have to put on. So go check out the entire lineup at footjoy.com.
Pro tip, it also helps when you're stringing up the lights. When the kids want to put lights over the entire house, you throw that Thermo Series.
Is that what you did this weekend?
That's what, yeah.
Oh, man.
My back is killing me. I was up and down the ladder trying to put lights up.
You got to get the Christmas light gun from, what's that movie? Is it The Grinch?
Yeah.
The Grinch.
That's
the Gatling gun.
When someone invents that, let us know. Meantime, check out footjoy.com. Let's get back to it. All right, so we've put together a fun little game here.
Do we have a name for this game?
We need a name, a little jingle. It'll be fun.
Unblur it.
Unblur it.
Unblur it.
We're calling this one Unblur it.
So this is how this is going to work. And we're going to do this again. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, you'll be able to see the images along with us. If you're listening to this, we will also be providing audio clues. So we have not seen any of these. Zach has put this together. Zach is going to be showing us first an unrecognizable blurred photo from a golf course.
Famous
Golf course.
Famous, or you've been there,
Or seen
or you.
In some way recognizable to us and to the audience, right? And then as we're trying to guess it, it's going to be slowly unblurred until it reveals the image. During that time, Zach will also be giving us facts about the course.
So we really can't screw this one up.
Oh, we can.
Okay.
We can. You'd be surprised what we can do.
This first one, I'm just going to say off the jump, I made it a little easy for you guys
we
because
appreciate
I
it.
figured that this challenge was going to be one that we repeat. So the first one, just to get you guys off the ground, I wanted to make sure that you guys didn't get skunked like last week. So
what-
you should definitely be able to get a couple of these.
If anyone gets it on the first blur, is it like extra points? No, we're just...
I think it's whoever
more
gets it
sensational.
first.
Whoever gets it first gets the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
It's
I'm
just more exciting if you get it more blurry.
Yeah,
I am
that'd be-
wholeheartedly putting my full weight on believing that you're going to win this because this is your wheelhouse, Mike.
What, like, this type of photo? Yeah.
Mike has a very...
We're going writing?
No. I'm going to keep score.
Okay.
Mike has... last time the score's still on here, it's 0-0. But Mike has an incredible way of like remembering golf courses. And
Call him
things like
Rain
that.
Man.
Like it's in another level. Like
It's
I'm the
weird.
worst at it. I will be playing a golf course, be like, Mike, where are we again? What's the name of this course?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Right.
Mike will be like, oh, in 2019, Frank, it was the 7th hole on Kings Barnes. I remember you hit your chip shot right. And I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
And then you told me blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right.
Then you, yeah.
But ask him what he has for lunch today. No idea.
No idea.
Guy's got no idea. It's just it's all the capacity is used up for golf courses.
That's
so we're gonna see if it translates here. So
Okay.
Zach, when you're ready,
We will
you take us
try
through
to
this
help
one.
the audio listeners as much as possible.
All right, here we go. Here's
we'll
the
kind of
first-
describe what we're seeing, and
Yeah.
Zach will be giving clues, facts about the course. It's the old course.
That's the old course. I was going to say Swilky.
All right, so
I see the Swilky.
well, I guess I didn't make it hard enough for you guys.
Holy cow, that's blurry.
That's
So,
blurry.
But you could see
Frank got
the
that.
R&A. Yeah, I should have shot. As soon as I saw it, I did shot
This
it.
is kind of
It was the
it would get a
skyline.
little unblurry,
Look at this.
That's how we're gonna do. So a couple of bam, wow. By the way, look at that
Gorgeous
picture.
photo, by the way.
But yeah, so the Swilky and Swilken Bridge, and then the skyline. You could tell like the
Yeah.
RNA and stuff. That was
Now
a
I got
good
to
one.
pick it up. All right,
I needed one because the rest are probably all going to Mike.
Jeez. All right.
So
come on.
wait, Zach. Just for our people following the game along, give us one example of a fact you had that you would give us.
For that one.
The first Open Championship came to this course in 1873.
All right, that we would have probably got it right after that.
So there you go. So
Course
there-
record is a 61. That was going to be the first one that I was going to give you, just to be like, all right, well,
yeah.
how would I know the course record?
And some of these facts could kind of throw you off the scent a little bit, but that's what you're going to hear. Zach's going to give the facts, and we're going to go through this.
All
So
right,
go ahead, Zach. Hit us with the next one.
All right, it's coastline.
Definitely is coastline. We're seeing some sort of coastline, cliffs.
Cabot Cliffs?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah?
Mike gets it.
No way.
Look at this guy. We didn't
Soon
even
as
get
you
a
said-
fact. He got
As
Cabot
soon as you said
Cliffs.
cliffs. Yeah, wow, look how beautiful that is.
Okay,
We got to go there.
I'm
Thi-
also writing Cabot Cliffs on our next travel series. here.
Seriously.
Look
Holy
at that.
jeez.
All right, Mike got one.
I'm
One-
sorry to the viewers and listeners at home that I didn't make this game hard enough.
I like you starting us off the first time with, baby steps here.
Yeah, I can promise you that they will not be this easy
I'm
ever
sure.
again.
How about we do this? We'll do each of us, so we're not just shouting them out and going through them. We each get one guess per blur.
Got it.
All right?
The game is evolving as we start.
Yeah, we're going to learn this as we go.
There's going to be a lot of that in the games to come.
Okay. 1-1. Oof.
Oh, yeah,
This
come
could be
on.
anything. So we're staring at literally just green and blue at this point.
All right, so we get to guess at this. This is like name that tune. I can name it in 3 notes. Let me see. We've got
I'm going to guess Hamilton Farm. because I'm seeing colors.
Are you serious?
Did he get that right?
Got it? Get out of
Are
here.
you serious?
You know why I was going to say Hamilton Farm?
No way.
The colors of the clubhouse.
No way.
See, oh man, all right. This guy's low key.
I don't
good
think
at
we
this.
even need the
notes.
the notes for this.
The notes were just a backup to help
I'm going to
us.
tell you my thought process on Hamilton Farm.
All right,
was
well,
because the clubhouse positioning, I could tell there was a green, and I know
And
the
that big
colors
brick
of that
house.
clubhouse.
Yeah.
The green roof. Yeah.
All right, I honestly think that we need to totally rethink this game. I think you guys know enough golf courses just by looking at them.
But this is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That, you know.
But I think that you guys will in the future not even need the hints.
Well, so far we haven't.
Well, listen, if last week was our double bogey
Well,
with 0, right?
Yeah.
This is our bounce back.
This is our bounce back round.
birdie.
Well,
here
you're
we're trying to get.
definitely like I almost feel bad for putting this one in.
Why? It's
because
too easy?
This next one, I feel like you guys are just going to be like,
Oh, that's Tobacco Road?
No, come on. Is it because of the sand?
That's my guess.
It's Tobacco Road.
Look at this guy!
Dude, how did you...
It's the sand.
Look
For
at-
me, it's the colors, honestly. I remember like the colors of the sand. Remember that was that reddish sand.
Yeah, you... Jesus. All right.
Tobacco Road. We didn't even get to do any facts yet.
I need to get one here. Come on, let's rip. Next one.
All right.
All right.
Ooh, this is like a drone shot almost. Like
Yeah,
an
I tried
aerial.
to. I
So...
went a little different with this one.
We see sporadic green
I
mixed with
see a lot of sand. And,
yeah.
and we may not have ever played at these courses, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But you also might have.
Yeah, this one's
Look at
giving me
that.
more of like an Arizona-y feel or a desert-y feel with those spots of green.
I'm going to start off by saying Pinehurst number 2. I don't know.
You know, I was going to go
Waste
Pinehurst number
bunkers.
4 because we haven't played in Arizona.
We haven't played in Arizona, and I don't know. He wouldn't have gone Arizona.
I just see so much sand.
None of us got it there.
All right, give us
We're deblurring.
a fact.
Let's
That's
get a...
one level deblurred. And
Which
a fact to go with this course was originally built in 1952 as a regulation 9-hole course.
Ooh.
And then they made
This
it
was
18.
a 9-hole course. It must have been expanded.
What year?
52.
50?
I'm going to go with Augusta National.
Oh.
No, that was built way before that,
Yeah,
Mike.
this guy. Hold on.
All right, so I lost my guess for this blur.
Ay, ay, ay.
I see
Sand Valley.
Nope.
sand and I see islands. All right, de-blur one more. That's de-blurred one more?
Yep.
Holy.
I feel like we're at the doctor, the eye doctor.
Yeah,
The thing
you
on
cover
here,
that.
You're like, how about now? How about
How
now?
about
How about
now?
now?
In
Better
the,
or worse? Better or worse?
So in
Clip.
the 80s, this course was protected as public land. If that gives you anything.
Don't you even dare. Stop it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hold on.
I'm trying to get his head.
When I say public land, because I'm thinking about when they were built. No, that's too long ago. No, can't. That doesn't make sense.
Streams. No. Stream Song Red Black.
No, that's too new. Those courses are too new for the
Right. Another blur.
Oh, I hope somebody at home is getting this one.
Pound Ridge.
No.
Oh, no. This is Goat Hill Park.
Frank gets
Yes,
Oh, he got
that's
it.
Goat Hill. That's Goat Hill.
All right,
because
so-
Goat Hill was public land, and it was like saved by a grant at some point, and it wasn't so much that it was sand. If you remember Goat Hill, it just didn't have a lot of turf.
Yeah.
It was just
Holy
a lot of
cow.
earth.
So I guess for the next one, I just need to find better photos. A little bit more difficult to like recognize photos, I guess, or just
Yeah, maybe the Swilky.
Here's the thing: we're undefeated. We got them all. Was
What'd
that
you
all
get?
of them?
Did you get four?
that was all of them. We've
Okay,
got 5
I got
done.
4
right
to
there.
your 1.
Are we carrying this score on?
No, we'll start it fresh each time, but I'll
Okay.
leave this up at least till next week. It's just slaying.
Yeah. All
But
right.
really thought that was going to be your game.
All right. So what did you guys think as the
I thought that was
participants? Was that fun?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Next time, should we do more? Maybe bring it to 10. Being we didn't anticipate you guys just rattling
I
them
think,
off so
yeah.
quickly.
You know what we should do next time? Go through all of our old photos of shots around, of our golf around the world and ask, what hole was this on? So I have a chance
Yeah,
to win.
because he's got that down.
Oh,
pat.
Kings Barn 6.
At
Okay.
this point, he's just stacking the deck in his favor. But I'm going to tell you guys this, like I said last week. If you've got ideas for this to stump us or whatever,
for sure.
DM them to the Golf Podcast Instagram handle because we won't see them. Zach runs that account, so he will see
I've already gotten some suggestions for the last game.
Okay, good.
Great.
So DM them over there, and he'll say, but otherwise, let us know what you think. We're going to try to introduce a fun new game on the show each week. So if you do listen, you might want to also tune in and watch on YouTube or Facebook. But that's everything we have for you guys this week. That was a lot of fun. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll continue to recap what's going on in the tour.
And please let us know what we should put on these shelves, guys. That'll be appreciated.
Maybe we want to do one of our segments we want to do is called Bring Back Mike's Mailbag from the old days. In which case, maybe we'll put our address if you guys want to send us some random trinkets, and maybe we'll put some
I can
up.
say, as producer of the podcast, I'm going to make the executive decision that next week we are going to do 5 Name That Golf Course, like what we did last week.
Okay.
And then we're going to do 5 Unblur It. 5 new Unblur It's.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
He's gonna come. He's gonna come with
or
some hard
name
stuff for us.
the country of the course,
The country
and
of
then
the
5
course.
Unblur It's.
That was a tough one.
Okay.
All right, that was a lot of fun. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did. We'll see you next week.